Hi and welcome to our postnatal video. My youngest son is 17 weeks old, so I'm still very much in the postnatal period myself. I'm very aware of the aches and pains that you can get during this period, not least the exhaustion as well, of course, but the shoulders and neck, especially if you're breastfeeding. So I'm hoping that this practice will help you as much as it's helped me. I did have a C-section. I was back on my mat quite quickly afterwards, but I'm also was very aware of my limitations at that time. So please do be aware of your own limitations, regardless of how you may have birthed. And please make sure that if anything doesn't feel right, you stop the practice. And if nothing else, just take this as an opportunity to rest, because sometimes that's the best thing we can do for ourselves, is just rest. So if it does all feel too much, then just switch to our Yoga Nidra recording and enjoy that instead. Okay, so we're going to start lying on our backs. So just coming down to lie on your back. And just having the feet about hip distance apart from one another. And it should feel quite nice just to lie on your back, or at least it does for me. It just takes the pressure off a little bit. So you just allow your back of body to sink down onto the floor. You can let the knees drop in towards one another if you choose, otherwise knees over ankles. And we're just going to breathe here. So we're going to bring awareness to the breath, just make sure there's a lengthening to the back of the neck. We're just going to deepen the inhalation and lengthen the exhalation. So you're breathing in and out through your nose if you can, just deepening the inhalation and lengthening the exhalation. You might really try and get some space between the ribs on that inhalation. And then just surrendering, softening on the exhalation. So just centering yourself. Sometimes for me this is the most important part of the practice, is just being able to ground for a moment and just enjoy momentary peace, being supported by the earth like this. Start bringing some movement into the body. And as I just said, if anything doesn't feel right, please do stop whatever it is that we're practicing. So please do honour your body and obviously your energy levels too. So we're just going to take a breath in and draw both knees in towards the chest. So we're just hugging the knees, and we might hold the back of the thighs like this, or hold the shins, whichever feels comfortable for you. Now, if it is quite early on after having your baby, then actually you might just want to have the knees apart from one another. For me, I've always found it comforting to have the thighs over the tummy like this, but we're all different, so if necessary, knees apart. And again, just consciously breathing. So for me, the joy of this is that the back of my heart is able to just soften down. Clearly my breastfeeding posture isn't as good as it could be, because I do feel some aching in that particular area of the body. And then we're just going to roll over to the right side and push ourselves all the way up from here. And I'm going to spin around to face you. You can just sit cross-legged, facing towards the front of your mat. If it's not comfortable to sit cross-legged, then just stretch the legs out like this. But otherwise, sitting cross-legged, just interlock the fingers. We're going to take a breath in and reach the hands up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to exhale, reach over towards the right, so pressing the left sitting bone down. Inhaling, reaching that right hand back up towards the ceiling, and exhale over towards the left, pressing the right knee down. Inhaling, hands raised, chest open, and exhale, just taking a gentle twist to the right. Inhaling, hands extended again to the ceiling, and exhale, let's just take a gentle twist to the left. Inhaling, hands towards the ceiling, and exhale, bring your hands together behind the back of the body, interlocking the fingers. And inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together, opening your chest. Exhale to soften. We'll do that again, it feels so nice for me. Let's inhale, lift the hands. Exhaling, softening, lovely. One more like that. So just inhale, lifting the hands, shoulder blades together. And exhale, we're going to bring the right elbow on top of the left elbow as best we can. And then we wrap the arms around one another as best we can and extend through the fingertips. So it's Garudasana arms. We'll just bring a little movement through the pelvis as well, and with your core as well. So on your inhalation, just rocking forward onto the front of the sitting bones, lifting the elbows. And then on the exhalation, rounding the spine, elbows to belly button. Inhaling, rocking forward, lifting the elbows. Exhaling, elbows to belly button, rocking back. And then you can just inhale, extend the hands up, and exhale, float them all the way back down. Good. And then you might just shrug the shoulders in one direction, then the other direction, before swapping, so just changing the cross. And then we'll do the same again. We'll take the unnatural cross though, so whichever index finger was in front, bring it behind. And then we take the inhalation, let's stretch all the way up. This time I'm going to exhale over to the left, pressing that right knee down. And then inhale, extending up, just lengthening on the exhalation through that left side body. Inhaling, reaching up, keep the chest open, gentle twist on the exhalation to the left. Inhaling again, extending hands up, chest open as you exhale, twist to the right. Inhaling again, lifting. And exhale, let's take that cross of the hands again, the unnatural way, interlocking the fingers. And then on your next inhalation, lift the hands, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Exhale down. Inhaling, lifting up again. Exhaling down. Good. One more like that. So let's inhale, lifting, opening the chest. And exhale, let's bring the left elbow on top of the right this time and wrap the arms around one another, extend through the fingertips. And then you inhale, come forward on the sitting bones, lift the elbows. And exhaling, rounding the spine again. One more like that. So you inhale, drawing the shoulder blades apart this time. And exhaling, maybe drawing the tummy in, rounding the back. Inhale, extending the hands up. And exhale, let's float them back down onto the mat. And then we'll bring ourselves all the way over onto all fours into cat-cow. So wrist joints just slightly forward of the shoulder joints, spreading the fingers, but not aggressively. So there's a softness there, knees and feet about hip distance apart. So we'll work with the core a little, so that on the inhalation we actually soften the tummy, lift the chest, look forward. And then on the exhalation, tummy draws up into the back body as you round the back. Inhaling, softening the tummy, broadening through the chest. And exhaling, tailbone lengthens down as tummy draws up, chin to chest. One more, so inhaling, softening the tummy. And exhaling, rounding the back. Inhaling, we just come back to the starting position, and then on the exhalation we'll just take a moment in pose of a child, forehead on the mat or maybe on your hands, so it can rest somehow on something, and you soften sitting bones onto the heels. Now actually, now you've started moving and practicing, you might determine that actually you're really quite tired, and this might be a place for you to stay for some time, nurturing. I think it's all too easy once you've had a baby to feel like you have to get your life back as it was previously. You need to do all the things that you used to do, but actually you're just so tired all the time. The best thing you can do often is just take time out to rest and get your energy levels back up. So if necessary, stay here. Otherwise, we're just going to take an inhalation to come back up onto the knees. And then we might take a squat. Have the heels lifted if necessary. We're actually going to come into what's called the pump, where if we can, we take the hands underneath the feet with the palms turned up. Okay, so if this isn't working for you, just stay squatting or sitting. Otherwise, you take an inhalation, lift the chest. It might feel nice on an exhalation to straighten the legs, let the head hang down. And then we might inhale, bend the knees, lift the chest. And then exhale. Again, just straightening the legs as much as feels comfortable. And we'll take the hands out from here and we'll turn the heels out. So big toes turned in slightly. You can have the knees bent, obviously. Hands maybe to the opposite elbows and just let the upper body hang. So for me that again feels really nice, just to take the pressure off the shoulders again. And just let the neck hang. And then you might work towards straightening the legs, but only if that feels okay for your back. Well, and for your hamstrings, of course. And then we'll change the cross of the arms, so whichever hand is on top, taken underneath.
Just check no tension in the neck. And you're breathing, of course, with awareness. And then we'll release the hands apart from one another. We'll bend the knees quite a bit as we bring the hands onto the hips. Press the feet down. And inhale, bring yourself all the way up from here. Coming back up or coming up to stand. And then just walking yourself to the front of your mat. We'll come through a sun salutation of sorts. So we'll start with the feet hip distance. I'm going to bring the hands to the heart. Drop the shoulders. We'll take an inhalation, reach the hands to the ceiling. And we'll exhale, take the hands to the opposite elbows. On the inhalation, press the elbows into the hands. And exhale, lean over to your right. Inhaling, come back to the centre, pressing the feet down as you exhale over to your left. Inhale, back to the centre. And exhale, softening the knees as you fold from the hips. Just taking another couple of breaths here, just letting the upper body hang again. Awareness of the breath. Straightening the legs only if it feels comfortable for you. And then on your next inhalation, bring your hands onto your shins and extend the crown of the head forward. Before you exhale, come down onto hands and knees. Same as we just practiced on the inhalation, lift the chest, lift the sitting bone. Exhale, let's round the spine again. Inhaling, softening the tummy again, broadening the chest. Exhaling, rounding the back so the tummy's active. One more like that, so inhaling, opening, and exhaling to round. Just inhale back to the starting position, and then we're just going to exhale the right foot, kind of where the right hand is. We're just going to come onto the fingertips and come into this kind of lunging pose. You might even need to just walk your left knee back, just take pressure off the left knee. The right knee can be over that right foot. It's a very subtle movement of lifting the chest up and lengthening the tailbone down, so it's very subtle. And then you're just breathing as you broaden through the collarbones again, and keep this right knee, if you can, hugging into the right upper arm. And then we'll take an inhalation here, and exhale the right forearm onto the right thigh. And then we'll inhale, reach the left hand forward and up. This always feels really nice for me. And exhale, take it all the way around the back. The eyes can follow the hands. Again, inhaling, swooping up. And exhale all the way back. One more like that. Inhaling up. And exhaling back. Well done. Just bringing the hands down either side of that right foot. Just be mindful of that left knee, but we're just going to lift the right toes away from the mat and straighten that right leg a little. We might take an inhalation, then lift the chest, and on the exhalation, just fold a little bit over that right leg. And then we're going to take another inhalation, lift the chest again. Exhale to fold. And then one more, inhaling, lifting up. And exhale, folding, forehead towards the shin. Before we inhale, come all the way back up. And exhale, press that right foot back down onto the mat. And then we're going to just spin the left foot to the right side of the mat. Walk your hands around towards the left side of the mat. And move your right foot so it's in line with your left knee. Raise the hands to shoulder height. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, just a gentle reaching over towards the right. Inhale, come back to the centre. Exhale, if it's okay, coming over to the left, maybe onto your fingertips. Inhaling to the centre, exhaling Parigasana. Inhaling to the centre, exhaling. Inhaling, last one, come back to the centre. Exhaling to the right, and then finishing by inhaling to the centre and exhale all the way over to the left. Inhale, come all the way back up. And then exhale, release the hands down and spin your way back to face towards the front of the mat on hands and knees. And then we just step the hands like a couple of inches, or a couple of centimetres I should say, forward of where they were. We'll take a downward facing dog. If this doesn't feel right for you, then obviously just stay on hands and knees. Otherwise, inhaling the knees away from the mat and exhaling downward facing dog. So you're just pressing the hands down onto the floor, thumb and index finger base particularly, and drawing the upper arms apart from one another, creating space between the shoulder blades, drawing the lower ribs into the back body. Tummy is active if you can make it active anyway on the exhalation. And the heels are moving down towards the floor. And just focusing your eyes on a spot between the legs or towards the belly button, whatever works for your neck. And then on your exhalation, pop the knees down onto the mat. Bring the big toes together and take the knees as wide apart as comfortable for you now. Chest is open. Take an inhalation here. And on the exhalation, walk the hands forward. Bringing your forehead, or it's actually sometimes just bringing the forearms down is enough. Some of you might be able to bring your forehead, some of you your chest, and then rest on one side of your face. So whatever works for you really, but sitting bones pressing onto the heels. And then just enjoying the opportunity to be still and to breathe. And then on your inhalation, lift the head and chest. And exhale, walk the hands back a little bit, just so you can press them down and ease the knees in a little bit closer towards one another. Then stretch the hands out again. So striking cobra. On the inhalation, we're going to run the nose along the mat, bringing the nose all the way towards the hands. When we press the hands down, lift the chest, and exhale, sitting bones back onto the heels. So on the inhalation, nose runs along the mat towards the hands, press the hands down, creating a little bit more strength in the body before you then exhale, lengthen through that lower back. One more, so inhaling, coming forward, pressing the hands down, lift the chest. And exhale, come all the way back from there. And then inhale, lift the head and chest. Exhale, walk the hands back towards the knees. And let's come to squat again if that's okay for you. So from this squatting position, we're just going to interlock the fingers, going to press the feet down. And on an inhalation, come all the way up to stand. And exhale, release the hands down. And then let's just bring the hands together again at the back of the body. And take an inhalation to open the chest. I love doing this at the moment. And then exhale, releasing. And then if you just bring yourselves back to the fronts of your mats, I'm just going to turn to the back of mine so that you can see me when we go the other way. Will all make sense, I'm sure. So feet hip distance, hands to the heart. We're going to take an inhalation, reach the hands up towards the ceiling. And exhale, take your hands to the opposite elbows this time from what you did previously. And then you're going to inhale, press the elbows up into the hands. And exhale over to your left, press the hips to the right. Inhaling to the centre. And exhaling over to the right. Inhaling back to the centre. And exhale, let's fold again. So soften the knees. We'll just take a couple of breaths here, just allowing the upper body to kind of hang down. You might straighten the legs if that feels okay. Staying with the breath. And then on your inhalation, or next inhalation, bring the hands to the shins, extend the crown of the head forward. And exhale, come down onto hands and knees again. So we'll go through that movement once more. So wrist joints are slightly forward of the shoulder joints. We take a breath in and lift the chest, lift the sitting bones. And exhaling, rounding the back, pressing the shin bones to the floor. Inhaling again, broadening through the chest. And exhaling, rounding the spine. One more. Inhaling, chest broad, sitting bones lifting. And exhaling, rounding the back. Inhale, come back to the starting position. And this time we exhale the left foot to kind of where the left hand is and come up onto the fingertips. Fingertips are helpful to the inside of that left foot, I find anyway. But doing what feels right for you. Reaching back through that right foot. And then it's that subtle movement of lifting the chest and lengthening the tailbone down. And then hugging that left knee in towards the left arm. Dropping the shoulders down, releasing tension through the neck, breathing. And then we'll all take a deep breath in here, and as you breathe out, left forearm onto left thigh. And then we're going to inhale the right hand forward and up, and exhale all the way back around. And again, inhaling, swooping up, exhaling around. And last one, inhaling all the way up. And exhaling all the way back around. And then we're just going to start to lift the left toes away from the mat. So just make sure that your right knee is comfortable here. Your left hamstring, however, may not be comfortable. So you might just stay like this, or you take an inhalation, and on the exhalation, leading with the heart, folding over this left leg. And then we'll inhale, come back up. And exhaling. Inhaling up. And exhaling. Forehead down towards the shin. Inhaling up. And then we'll exhale, bring that left foot back onto the mat. And then we're going to spin the right foot towards the left side of the mat. Hands around towards the right side of the mat. And step that left foot so it's aligned with the right knee. Coming up from here, so in theory, kind of right hip above right knee. Hands at shoulder height, soften the shoulders. We're going to take a breath in here, and as we breathe out, lean to the left. And then you're inhaling back to the centre, so this is the gate pose. Exhaling, fingertips onto the floor, that's the right fingertips. Inhaling to the centre, and exhaling over to your left. Inhaling to the centre, exhaling. Inhaling to the centre, last round, exhaling over. Inhaling to the centre, and exhaling. Inhale back to the centre, and then let's just exhale, release the hands down, spin all the way around, back onto hands and knees, staying like this, or hands a couple of centimetres forward, tap the toes under, take an inhalation, knees away from the mat, and exhaling, downward facing dog again, creating space between the shoulder blades, thumb and index finger pressing onto the floor, lifting up through the hip creases, just focusing the eyes on a spot between the legs or towards the belly button. Few breaths, just literally lengthening out. Okay, and then we're going to exhale the knees down onto the floor, big toes together, take the knees wide apart again, chest open, take a breath in, and as you breathe out, walk the hands forward, maybe coming onto your forearms or onto your forehead or chest, and if you're on your chest, take your head in the opposite direction. Oh, and enjoy the opportunity just to be still and to breathe. Okay, and then we're going to take your breath in to lift the head and chest. So walk your hands back a little, just so you can press them down and ease the knees in a little bit. Then you're going to stretch the hands back out. We're going to come into that striking cobra again. Or you could just rest here. Otherwise, you're going to take an inhalation, nose along the mat towards the hands, press the hands down. And exhaling, tummy drawing it in as sitting bones come towards the heels. Inhaling along the mat again, keeping the elbows in to increase strength as you exhale, come back. It doesn't matter if the elbows go off to the side. As you inhale, come forward, nose to hands, press the hands down. And exhale all the way back down. And then you can inhale, lift your head and chest. And exhale, walk the hands back. Bringing yourself once more into that crouching position. We're going to interlock the fingers, taking the unnatural interlocking. Press the feet down and inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, floating the hands down. Okay, you're back where you started. Now back where I started. I'm going to keep the right foot at the front of the mat, and we're just going to step the left foot back. So in many respects we're tired, but in many respects we probably also need to ground. So it's like a really fine balance. So if you're really feeling tired, this probably isn't the pose for you right now. But if you just feel like you just need a bit of grounding, I was fine, especially having a C-section, you've kind of lost your grounding a little bit. I think just generally having a baby, you lose your grounding as well. It's just all such a shock. So right knee on top of right ankle, left heel turned out, hands to shoulder height, extend between the fingertips. Just make sure that it feels comfortable as much as it can, warrior two. Reach that back hand back, drop the shoulders and gaze out over the middle finger on that right hand. And just take a few breaths here and really do feel the feet in contact with the earth. So use this as an opportunity to really focus on your grounding. So feet in contact with the earth, almost as if the feet have roots and they're really stretching down sort of 12 to 18 inches below the earth. They say we have the earth star chakra here, the grounding chakra. So we need to really get that grounded back to the earth. At least that's how I always feel after having a baby. Okay, we're going to take a breath in here and exhale, release. And then we'll just change directions. So we'll turn the left foot out, right heel out. And again, we'll bend the left knee on top of the left ankle so the knee should be safe. Chest or torso, in theory, perpendicular to the mat. Need a mirror to check. Hands at shoulder height.
And then we're going to drop the shoulders down, lift through the outer arms, and then turn the head to gaze over the middle finger on that left hand. But again, if it's just too strong, just stand. But otherwise, imagine those roots again growing out the soles of your feet all the way down, 12 to 18 inches down into the earth, connecting you to the very centre of the earth. Good. And then take an inhalation here, and an exhale, let's release. Now this is a pose that I did really enjoy, or still do really enjoy practicing, especially in the particular early days when my body was getting used to all the breastfeeding again, is to just bring the hands together behind the back of the body and open the chest again. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, just kind of let it all go as you fold. However, if you find that actually this is really not great for you, you can just bring the hands onto the floor and at least just let the head hang, just take the pressure off the neck. So it really is entirely up to you where you take this. But just a few breaths, just finding that length through the back of the body. Okay, and then we're going to take an inhalation, start to lift the head away from the floor, and you can exhale, bring the hands down onto the floor, or just heel toe, the feet closer together. And then just bring yourself down to sit on your mat. And we'll just do a few seated poses. So we're just going to bend the left knee to the chest and take the left knee off to the side. And then if that knee's kind of just hanging there and you happen to have like a cushion or something, you can just take that underneath the left knee. And then we turn the chest to face the right foot. And we're going to take an inhalation, lift the chest, and on the exhalation, lead with the heart, folding over this right leg. So depending on where you need to be, you might just keep your hands on the mat, or you could just take your hands to your right foot, forehead towards the right shin, just softening the face. And then the joy for me is just really breathing into the back of the heart space. For me, that just area just gets so tight with all the breastfeeding and the carrying of car seats and everything else. Okay, and then on your inhalation, lift the head and chest. And exhale, walk the hands back. And then you just bring this left knee back to the centre, extend the left leg, bend the right knee to the chest, take the right knee off to the side, take a cushion under that right knee if necessary, fingertips on the mat, chest open, take a breath in, and then again lead with the heart, so just soften. Holding that left foot if it's available to you, but don't worry, it doesn't matter where you are, just as long as you're finding some degree of release and comfort, stability. And then we'll take an inhalation to lift the head and chest again. And an exhale, walk the hands back towards the body. Bring this right knee back to the centre. Paschimottanasana. So for me this was great. Like I really enjoyed being able to come back into this pose, having not been able to do it for ages. But also I just found it supported like my womb and my digestive system after having a baby, especially after having a C-section. But if you don't find it works for you, then you can take the feet apart, obviously, so there's a bit more space. Okay, so I was quite lucky, well, lucky in many respects. The baby came very early, so my bump wasn't as pronounced as it could have been. So we might take an inhalation, lift the head and chest, and exhale, come forward from there. So as I said, for me this was really nourishing. You could also, depending on how far away your head is from your legs, rest on pillow. But likewise, if it's not working for you, just take the feet apart and come forward from there. I could stay here for some time. In fact, some days I did just stay here for some time, actually.
do that today. That's probably enough. So we're going to take a breath in now to lift the head and chest. And exhale, walk the hands back. And then we're going to bring ourselves down to lie on our backs. So feet hip distance. Now again, it depends where you're at in your recovery period. So you might just literally bring yourself down, like in terms of using your hands to support you, or if you're okay working with your core, your hands are out, feet are flat, you take a breath in, and on the exhalation, unroll your spine, come all the way back down onto the floor. Hurrah. And then we'll just bring the heels underneath the knees with the feet hip distance. We need some space behind us, so I'm just going to wriggle down my mat a bit because I've got props around me, I wasn't sure what I might need. So, we're going to press the feet down and we're going to keep the knees as much as we can tell anyway above the ankles. We're going to take an inhalation, we're going to soften the elbows or bend the elbows and release the hands above the head there. And then on the exhalation, press the feet down and unroll your spine away from the mat. On the inhalation, chest towards the chin. And then exhale as you unroll your spine back down onto the mat, bringing your hands also back down onto the mat. So let's do that again. Inhaling, lifting the arms. Exhaling, unrolling your spine away from the floor. Inhaling, lift into the chest. And exhaling, unrolling the back, bringing your hands back down onto the floor. Let's do that one more time. Inhaling the arms up. Exhaling, unrolling your spine. Inhaling the chest towards the chin. And then on the exhalation, unrolling the spine back down onto the floor, hands back down. And then you might feel that actually that's great, that's enough, I'm just going to stay here. But because I'm personally quite obsessed about trying to open my chest just because I feel a lot of tension there, I'm going to press my feet down again, take a breath in, and on the exhalation I'm going to unroll my spine away from the mat. And I'm just going to bring my hands together underneath the body once more, or at least bring the hands together once more. And then lift one arm up and then the other, and just get those shoulder blades tucked in. So just make sure there's no tension on the neck. And then I can really press my feet down, knees forward, lifting the hips a little bit more. So I'm opening through the front body, which always, for me, just feels really nice after not being able to do this for so long. And then chest towards the chin. Just opening into that front body. Breathing into the chest. And then we're going to release the hands, and on the exhalation, unroll the spine, coming all the way back down onto the floor, softening. Deep breath in and out. And then let's just do a few sort of pelvic tilts in terms of strengthening through the pelvic muscles. It's really important to do this, I discovered after my first born, when I didn't do it so much and suffered as a consequence. Sneezing was interesting. So I've made a real effort this time. So what I'm going to do is take an inhalation and rock the pelvis forward a little bit. So you see my lower back lifts up a little bit. And then on the exhalation, I'm going to tilt the pelvis and lift the pubic bone up towards the belly button, engaging through the pelvic muscles. Inhale, I'm going to soften again. And then exhaling, I'm going to press the lower back down, really engage, squeeze through the pelvic muscles. Inhaling, lifting the hip bones come forward and up. And exhaling, lower back presses down, tailbone lifts up. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. And exhaling. Last one. We should probably do a lot more of those though. And then just inhale back to the centre. Let's just take a twist. So again, twisting has been really important for me as well. But again, it just does depend on what's going on for you. So hands to shoulder height. And you're going to inhale the knees in towards the chest. And then I like to just exhale the knees over towards the left side initially. And you might find that your right shoulder lifts up, and that's fine if you can just anchor the knees down. And then you might just scoot the chest towards the left to bring that right shoulder down. Or maybe it still doesn't go down, so you drop the right hand down. Or maybe if you've got like a pillow or something, you can take it underneath that left knee. I just find this really restful. And even turn the head to look towards the right hand. That feels okay for your neck. Okay. And then just have an awareness, obviously, as you inhale, bring the knees back to the centre. You might just realign your spine, and then you're going to exhale the knees over towards the right, and then you might prop them if necessary. You might shift the upper back over a little bit, you might drop that left hand down, whatever feels comfortable for you, okay? So the idea is to be restful, or even turn the head to the left. Stay here for some time, but let's move. Okay, let's take an inhalation, knees back to the centre. And exhale, feet down onto the floor. Well done. Time is always so precious, isn't it, when you've got children? Okay, let's bring ourselves over to one side or the other. I'm just going to come this side so I can see you. And then bring yourself all the way up from here. Now, if you have a chair or even your bed, like I do this with the bed ordinarily for practice in my room, this for me has been one of the most healing and beneficial parts of the practice since having Evan. So I'm just going to come to lie on my back, and I'm going to bring the back of my calf muscles here onto the chair. And I'm just going to rest like this. Now, ideally I should probably have my socks on, and I should have a jumper on, and I should have my blanket covering me, and my eye pillow on my eyes. So you can do that. I would highly recommend you do that. And even have a cushion under your head, like really make it so comfortable. And seriously, if you're having a bad day, then just do this. Like, if you do nothing else, just do this. Especially if you happen to have had a C-section. And actually, even if you haven't, I just found this so healing for my womb and that whole energetic centre. If you're Reiki attuned, you've got the added bonus that you can maybe place your hands on that space and attune Reiki at the same time. So let's just take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then just surrender all efforts. So let the chair support the legs. Let the lower back sink down onto the floor. Let the back of the heart space sink onto the floor. Just draw those shoulders, if you haven't already, away from the ears. Just let the back of the head sink down as well. Sometimes we find ourselves sleeping in really uncomfortable positions. Maybe holding babies during the night, breastfeeding in not very good positions, anything just to get more sleep. Allow the eyeballs to sink a little deeper in the eye sockets. And feel yourself supported by the earth, so you can just soften that a little bit deeper. Supported by the earth. And even though we might not be lying on the literal earth like the soil, still feeling that support and that exchange of energy. It's so nice to be held sometimes because we're the ones now doing all the holding often. So just let yourself be held by the earth. And depending on how much time is available to you, you might just stay here. Otherwise, you're just going to deepen your breath, and you're just going to bring the knees down towards the chest, and then you're just going to roll over to the side again, and just take a moment on the side before pressing yourself all the way up. You might just conclude your practice by sitting. There are many things you can do here.
I used to really enjoy it and still doing Bija chanting, just to bring energy to all the 7 main chakras. And actually I'm going to do that for the benefit of you that have the time to do that. For those of you that don't, then obviously see you soon.